Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and you are watching HoN Tour Southeast Asia G-League Cycle 3, and yes, this is round 3. Finally, gonna be able to cover Impurity Earth versus MRR. Very excited. They have finally escalated all the way up here to the G-League. I'm Babael, and with me is Lark.
Hey, what's up, guys? Always glad to be here. And like you said it, man, Impunity Earth, I'm super stoked on watching how this new lineup is gonna be. A lot of the players have the name change, of course, because of the bug and stuff. So we'll just talk about that a little bit later. But I'm really excited to see how these guys are doing because they've done pretty well to finally make it into G League. And like for the past two rounds, they actually went up against, I think it was ISE and RDCF, That's Right Corp Fabulous, or however you want to call them, and they actually won both those games. So I'm actually kind of interested to see how they did it and how they run their lineups and such. So yeah, super stoked.
Yep, it's a really exciting game. So before we go into the lobby here, sorry, just show you guys a little bit onto our current table standings. I do believe it should be up on the screen very soon. Give me a slight moment while I get it sorted out. But yeah, anyway, back to this topic here. So Impunity have definitely have got a lot of good results coming into this entire G League Cycle 3. And one of them is the fact that they actually beat RDCF, and there we go. Actually, the table is gonna be up there, relegating them all the way down to position number 16 or thereabouts, having no points at all after a total of 2 days. So Impunity of they are so far looking very good. In fact, one of the top 4 teams to have only 2 wins in just 2 days. So that's going to give them a total of 6 points, and I hope that today they will have the continuous spree against MR. Definitely, we'll be able to see someone walk away really happily, and the other one really a little sad. Or maybe it's going to be a draw, and the rest of this G League is going to be happy about that. But anyway, games well on the way, and the first few heroes that are being banned are the Tempest, Fate, Keeper, as well as the MOA.
Yeah, I mean, nothing much too out of the ordinary there. Of course, Master of Arms, very strong support. Tempest, Keeper. It's been a while that we've actually seen both banned out. Usually, we just see a Tempest, and then Keeper usually gets picked up, especially with like the games that we casted before with MR. Fate, of course, like we all know, just so damn strong. I like the first pick, Ophelia here. It's been a while since we've actually seen Ophelia being picked up, and I think it offers quite a bit. But um, I guess as a first pick, it's kind of iffy. But of course, as a jungle role, you usually like to pick it up straight away so that you can kind of solidify your lineup. But there are a lot of ways to counter that. I mean, like Parasite's still on the board if the enemy team wants to go for it. I'm not too sure if MR does run the Parasite, especially seeing as to how it got kind of like the changes. So it's different how they kind of build off the Parasite in terms of
Yeah,
like the item build.
well,
I mean, like I feel it's like such a big nerf in my opinion. So yeah.
it is. And one thing I like to point out really is that Ophelia has been run on MR for the past 2 games, especially against Thunder Masters, which they lost one and won one. ColorX plays a pretty fantastic Ophelia by all means, and that would be one of the main reasons I do believe that Impunity of wants to snatch away that Ophelia away from ColorX.
Yeah, and I mean like the thing is, okay, wait, who's the jungle player for Impunity Earth? That's a
That's the
big
question I have on my mind because I know the FRR plays as the support, but maybe I don't
so
know.
it should be luck, right?
Romtu?
Or Rom
Impromptu?
2.
I don't know. By the way, it's impromptu there.
Oh, that's it.
IMP, yeah,
Oh,
impromptu.
okay.
Yep,
Nice,
so.
nice, nice play on words. Anyways, yeah, I think impromptu is who was it? I think that's like, is that air or
Yeah, that's
yeah,
air.
is
Yeah,
it air?
impromptu. Rom2 there is
Yeah.
actually air. Lucky, I do believe it's Kanashilak, I'm not so sure. Fur is the new player, so Fur should possibly be playing as support. But seeing how they actually drafted a Luna as an Ophelia, I do believe that one of them has to go to the jungle, and that would most probably be Fur because I am pretty sure that Air doesn't play jungle as familiar all the way back since 2011, was it? Yep, he has not really touched the jungle role for a really long while.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a Parasite.
Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, it's really good against Ophelia. Uh, I don't know much about Impurity's Earth jungle player. I don't know how well he does with Ophelia, but the way he plays is really going to come down to. I mean, it's really going to come down to the way that he plays, because if he plays it perfectly, he can easily kite out the Parasite from infesting his creeps and could really harass him to hell if he plays it perfectly. I think Parasite should be pretty fairly okay. I mean, like the change to his what do you call this? The draining venom, where it no longer works with the items.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not the it's kind of big in a sense that because he doesn't have that ability to just burst down someone so quickly with like a codex like level 1 2, or when he gets that really quickly. I guess it just kind of means that there's more versatility to the hero where you can pick up different items like a first pick straight away like into like a puzzle box if you really need. Like puzzle box is actually pretty damn good on a parasite, having the ability to just like infest it when you really need to, and
Mm.
it can be very annoying in my opinion.
It could be, and that's by the way a total of a 25% nerf in terms of all item damages that doesn't really stack with Draining Venom right now on the Parasite. But that against Team Imperial's current lineup, they actually have got a Pestilence being drafted also, and well, personally, I think I can speak on your behalf on this, Lark, but we don't really like or favor the Pestilence simply because Pestilence has got so many, problems with it. One of the main reasons is that the range of the stun is just really pathetic. You actually have to go all the way out to just make sure that happens. Along with Moraxus, we favor Moraxus a lot more because Moraxus is a lot more tanky. Pestilence on the flip side, not really so. However, Pestilence is very mobile, I can say, very least, for the very least there. So I hope that Pestilence would be able to just put forth a lot of early game pressure, and that is what exactly Impunity is playing right now. They have the Ophelia, they got the Luna, as well as the Pestilence, so that's a lot of early game pressure if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. But like I just feel like we haven't seen enough games where Pestilence wins, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like most of the time it's always like lose. Maybe there's like that one win, and after it's like lose. I just feel like teams they haven't really built around the hero as a whole. I know that Orange Esports has kind of run Pestilence in more of like that carry role, and it did work for them. I think it was against I want to say it was against AMQ or something like that, and I think they did pretty damn well. As for the Hellborn team, they have the Prisoner 945, and that's a pretty huge pick, in my opinion. It kind of prevents the Hag from getting locked down from the pickup of Prisoner onto a Legion team, so it's pretty okay.
Yep, that's really good. And that being said, well, I mean, so far MR has run pretty fairly. I mean, the fair amount of prisoner we've seen on them is pretty alright. Nothing too broken just yet. Definitely would have preferred Chidwanex on the Magnus because I've seen him succeed the hero so much more. The Kraken also pretty much until he was broken by Third Masters. That is until he was broken, but it is still pretty much a very strong player there. So Chidwanex gonna have to go to middle lane there this time around with the prisoner. And it seems like both teams gonna just nicely scheme through the second banning phase. Gonna ban out the Sand Wraith, the Scout, the Engineer, the Bubbles, Glaciers, as well as the Dampier. Wow, banning out the Dampier. Bomber Paul definitely know what Impunity of is playing right now. Without the Dampier, definitely you don't have as much roaming gank carry or whatever roaming support you can call. Sorry, carry you can call it there. So that's gonna be pretty scary coming from there. Bubbles also gonna be thrown into the lock pool, as in the ban pool. So we don't see that also. Scout pretty well. I do believe the Scout doesn't really flow well with Impunity of's current lineup, but that should be fine. And on the flip side, Impunity is going to ban out a lot of these very strong and famous heroes coming up from MR, specifically the Sand Wraith. It's one of those heroes that we definitely saw DQ just completely steamroll any games with. That Sand Wraith is just something that you don't want to hand over to DQ. So first ban there, definitely going to be the Sand Wraith. Engineer as well as Glaciers. I'm just surprised that Engineer hasn't been picked up this entire first picking phase.
Yeah, I also agree with that. Like they actually went with the Aluna. I forgot to mention about that. Like Aluna over Engineer is kind of iffy in my opinion, especially seeing as to how they don't have like things like a Pebbles, or a Fade to kind of pair it with. But yeah, I mean like if you take a look at the picks just coming out already for the second picking stage, that Wild Soul pickup, wow, that's just showing that Legion team they really want to push quickly, and I think that's the reason why they more or less kind of picked up the Pestilence and the Luna. They really don't want to give the ability for the Hellborn team to like kind of have that anti-push with the Luna. Pestilence is good for in terms of like early game ganks if he's able to snowball in that middle lane. But a Moon Queen pickup,
Oh
so
wow.
I don't know. In my opinion, it's a little bit greedy because it's like they want to have like the best of both worlds. They want to have the ability to like just farm up as much as they can at the same time, give a whole bunch of like harassment during the early stages, and I think that it could be a slight risk in my opinion. But if they're able to play it perfectly, then it could prove to be very difficult to deal with. As for the Hellburn's team, they finish it up with Predator and Torturer. So, I mean, Hellburn's team is all around fairly okay, and I think it's definitely lacking in terms of creep clearing potential. Yes, you have the torture, but he's more of like that support role, and if he gets out in that really a bad position, he's gonna be caught out so simply, and he's just gonna get bursted down like from like Pistolins or Moon Queen like that.
Yeah, so well, personally, now I'm just looking at this game here, and I can tell you that the amount of aggression in terms of magical damage from Team MR is just really off the scale here. We've got the Torture, we got Wretched Hack. Heroes like this shouldn't really be going together, but anyway, Imperium let that happen. So they are gonna have to deal with that. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 tonight, and that's round 3 of the GLX Cycle Tree. We are witnessing a match between Impudia versus MRR. Impudia definitely from Singapore, my home country, so I definitely am gonna have to root for them a little bit more. So you guys don't find it too offensive. That being said, we do have the drafter there, and that's going to be Anduin Rin. It's so hard to pronounce, but I do believe he was previously, I think he was
He's
reincarnated, also known
yeah.
as Trinity. So that's his real name there. So he has been around for really long. It's just that he has got so much name change that we just completely left him out there. So anyway, gonna call him Anduin. So Anduin here, you're gonna be playing as your Pestilence. We do have Zarina Tara, also known as Ron. That's the captain there, and he surprisingly gonna be playing as the Wild Soul. We also got Fur, a new player there. I do believe that he is gonna be playing as a support, and yep, it seems like I'm wrong. He's going to be the Luna. We do have the Moon Queen, and that's the carry. Going to be played by Kanashilak, also known as Lucky in this game. So, got to emphasize on the KKKY there. That's really nice. And Rom 2, also pronounced as Impromptu with the clan tag. It's also known as Air. That's Zarina Tara's little brother. And I do believe that I was wrong again. He is going to be playing as a jungle Ophelia in this game. So, really excited to see what MPDF can offer us today. That's it on Team Hellborn. We have neolution.MRR, and these guys have been tried and tested already so many times over, but they have not really played against Imperium, so I'm just excited to see if this old school team here can really bring them down. And we have the drafted there, Brom Rushabal gonna be playing as a Torture. We do have Parasite also being played by Color X. We also got Chitwan X, and that's gonna be a Prisoner 9 for 5. Duikyu gonna be playing as your carry, and Humbly is gonna be a Predator. Las Benales 070 gonna go Suicide, and that's your Wretched Hag.
Yep, definitely. I mean, fairly. It's kind of easy to tell what the lanes are gonna be. You can already see that Predator is already coming here to the top lane. It's gonna be a solo Pred, and then you're gonna have Parasite in the jungle. So it's kind of like that pseudo dual lane right there. In the middle, you're gonna have Torture and Prisoner 9 for 5. I actually think that Torture might want to stay at the top lane to kind of box out the wall, so and make sure that he's completely out of range of EXP or any type of farm. Like just harass the bear from stealing, like just cutting the creeps, and then like Prisoner 9 for 5 just goes solo in the middle lane. He's gonna go up against a Luna Pestilence, and I think he should be fairly alright. As long as he picks up on his early bottle and boots, then he should be pretty okay. You can always static farm there, because usually it'll come to a point where Pestilence and Luna on this kind of team, they have to like rotate around and set up ganks. So she should be fairly okay. As for Hag, definitely gonna go to the off lane against this Moon Queen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seeing it, I haven't really seen Lucky in action, so it's gonna come down to how they execute it. I don't think he was stacked region, so this could more or less go in favor of Hag, because he does have that extra health pot right there, so he can always dish out a lot of harass, and it will come to a point where Moon Queen doesn't have enough mana to just constantly spam out the moonbeams. But we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, really. And also remember the fact that Moon Queen has been nerfed a few patches back, and that means that the mana cost that has been increased on Moonbeam is just a little more right now. It does stand at a flat out 120 mana cost. So that is going to mean that Lucky will not be able to spam too much onto the hack. And yep, that's gonna mean a lot also, but I'm just surprised right now because Imperium, they may be running something really unique here. And note the fact that you've got Pestilence in this really questionable jungle spot here. I do believe that he is gonna go down south to try and play a little bit of a pseudo tri-lane with a Luna's help there. And that could also be questionable because we don't know, but Pestilence could also want to go middle lane, and that is something that's a little bit different because if you look at Imperium of lineup right now, they don't really have anyone that is gonna specifically just say that I'm gonna be at the middle lane right now.
Yeah, and usually you'd like usually a lot of teams, what they do is they usually would send that Parasite into the opponent's jungle, because they know that there's gonna be an Ophelia around there, and just like constantly harass him in the early game. I like the decision to just go into the jungle of their own. One of the main things is because he's not gonna be contested in terms of farm, and he will farm slightly faster as compared to Ophelia. But at the same time, he knows that there's a lot of danger there. If he was to rotate to Ophelia's jungle, he can easily be killed up by the Moon Queen or what do you call this? The help from the middle lane from the Pestilence or the Illuna, the roaming Illuna. So he knows that he definitely doesn't want to go into the opponent's jungle. So that's a good call by MR to actually just send Parasite into their own jungle. You can see right there he straight up picks up on Blightstones and Mana Potions. So it's a very unique kind of early item, starting items. Usually, you just see the Crushing Claws and the Mark of Novice, or usually the Mark of Novice and the Scarab, and then build it into like the early Chalice. So I think he just wants to like really push the limits to how he can farm. I'm not too sure what his first item is going to be. I just hope it's not a Codex. I mean, Codex is still pretty okay because it still gives you that edge in terms of like getting the quick burst damage out. But I
Yep.
think there are a lot of other items they can go like as a first item with the current changes.
And just looking at this ward here being placed by Tara, I do believe that it's actually a very good spot for ward, simply because it does actually the Arc of Sight nicely covering both lanes that could possibly initiate a little bit of this gang up north, except for the Reaper that's completely unsighted or rather unspotted out here by this ward. It should be pretty fair. That's it. Yet another pause gonna be well on the way here, and we are just waiting for this game to officially begin. And one of my main concerns right now for MRR really is about Parasite, because I've seen Parasite fail so many games. And if you watch me cast all those games, I was like, yep, you pick another ridiculously useless hero and a whole lineup that couldn't really do shit at about like 30 minutes into this game. But that being said, I do hope that ColorX proves me wrong again today, because he is playing as the Parasite and there's an Ophelia, so by all means on paper that's actually a pretty good counter. The only problem really again boils down to execution, and that is something that remains to be seen, and I hope the MR will not have a failed Parasite this game, or else it's going to be a pretty easy game for ImpE. But that being said also, I mean, with Kanashi luck, or rather lucky, on the Moon Queen in this particular game, it could also result in pretty much a lot of early game pressure here. I don't have to remind all our viewers that Moon Queen just pushes so ridiculously fast with multi-strike, and that is just one of those heroes that you know can do very good early game pressure. So what is this disconnection happening all across the map here? Both Tara and Shilvarex are being placed out of this game for now. So we will have to wait a little longer and be entertained by the Moon Queen.
Yeah, I think it's just problems with the servers. I don't know what server is this playing on, Amy? It's on.
I think it's on the Southeast Asia server.
Yeah, it's on the
That's part of the
substation.
rules, because
Yeah.
one team is from Thailand, the other team is not. So you're gonna have a little bit of a fair ground for both of them. But other than that, well, it's pretty questionable. That being said, Pestilence actually gonna nicely rotate all the way to the middle lane right now. And I mean, Illuna is going to be the missing key to ImpE Earth's early game success here. If Illuna really roams quickly down south here, plus the help from Ophelia in the jungle, it would result in pretty easy kill onto the hack there. And also, if Illuna actually rotates back to the mid lane and help out with Anduin there, I do believe it's going to be pretty easy to secure Prisoner 945. But again, that's pretty questionable, because Prisoner, being a strength hero, it's naturally pretty hard to burst him down. Also, the fact that this is not a Pebbles, but a Pestilence, so the burst damage coming from Pestilence is definitely a lot lesser.
But the thing you have to note right now is the fact that both Hag and Prisoner 945, they were given vision in terms of that jungle side, so they can get easily. Both these heroes can get easily ganked from the Ophelia, and that's not something you want to happen to both these heroes. Like mid lane definitely has to win this matchup
Early
against
game
the
pressure down south happening already. 017 in a lot of trouble, finding himself to use the first flash. Just barely seconds into this game, and a quick power throw gonna further the harassment effort. Definitely not gonna let it slide too easily, and 017 quickly got boxed out of the suicide lane. That being said, let's check on Walt. So he is doing his best with the Boo Boo, but Boo Boo actually might be going down really quickly, and that's gonna be a real 100 goal there, going for Bomb Rusher Paul.
That is huge. That is huge because that forces out the second bear, and the thing is he wasn't able to get out that pull. If he kills off the second bear again, that's gonna be another one wasted. Oh, he's actually gonna counter this Ward of Sight, so that's really nicely placed right there by Bomb Rusher Paul. You can see like he put the Ward of Revelation right in the nook and cranny. You can see right now Boo Boo is gonna try to pull this creep wave, and I think he will be able to stop this torture that is. We're just gonna have to see how it's gonna go.
Yeah, it really depends. Well, that being said, most of this action going to be happening both in the long lanes of both teams, and yes, against 070 is going to be boxed out. yet again. Still standing level 1, but I'm not surprised because Walso is not having a field day of his own also. That being said, 1 minute 40 seconds into this game, no Bloodlust just yet, and middle lane, no, there's no Aluna here. It's actually going to be the Pestilence against the Prisoner 945, and that's just that. Both of them having a pretty fair farm here. So looking at the CS per se, into the details, you definitely see Pestilence with about 9-1, and Prisoner 8-1, so it's pretty much a fair game all the way back here in the middle lane. Meanwhile, 070 slightly lost. They're actually going to stack the jungle here for Team Impurity Earth, I mean the pulling cam, and he is also going to try to run away a little bit, but that should be fine. Meanwhile, Boo Boo finally going to join up with Tara, and that's going to mean a quick level 3 for the wall, so all the way at the northern map, part of this map, sorry, and 070 going to have to still stay at level 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate because he wasn't able to, I mean, the top lane here, what I mean by the unfortunate is the fact that Predator, his lane was just pushed out so much, and that had to do mainly because Bomb Rusher Fall wasn't able to get the pulls. What do you call this? Walzo was doing a good job of using the bear. He's already level 3, like Nicely said. That means that's a level 2 Boo Boo, so he is entangling claws. You can see right here, he's gonna just go ahead and try to rotate towards the Ancients, and he can easily do that with ease. Like, there is no issue for him to do that. He's gonna have a second bear up in like another, what? Yeah, he's gonna be up of cooldown like right now, so he can always like just recall it if it dies against his ancients. So he's making use of whatever he can right now, and that's like the best way to really excel from a War Beast.
I have to say this, there's a lot of jungle action going on in the map of Impurity of right now. Impromptu played, also known as Air, by the way, playing the Ophelia, is doing a lot of work here. If you notice, it's actually going to be 3 stacked camps. All 3 camps are stacked 3 times already, and that's really interesting because that's going to help Luna with a lot of farm, and that's going to mean that mid lane you have Pestilence having a lot of harassment going on also. But back to the point, you're actually going to be able to stay at level 4 quickly. A nice hook there by 945, and Pestilence in a lot of trouble, and he gives out the Bloodlust. That is pretty regrettable coming from PDF, but that means the MR will have a slight lead going into this early game. It's just about 3 minutes 40 plus seconds into here, and quickly the farm on Walt, so on his Ancient's gonna have to stop because of this rotation by Bomb Rusher Paul. Also planting a lot of sight there.
I don't know about that rotation. I feel like it was a little bit not worth it at all.
Hang on, Hack actually in trouble. Hack actually gonna make Ophelia regret that and will kill Ophelia also. So that's gonna be 2-0 here, and 4 minutes in. Luna a little slow, but there's not enough mana on his Hack. I do believe that the Flash is still gonna be able to just execute, but that's just one more time, and that's just gonna be it. So that's it. There will not be further action coming from both teams there. Still 4 minutes in, and I mean, they all now know that there are stack camps all over this Legion jungle, and what will MR do? Will they come in here to try and make something happen, or will they just let Legion slowly thump that off?
I mean, Hellborn, they don't really need to just address those triple stack Ancients. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing that they can do about that as well. Hag is just so far back in terms of like farm and levels, and I was about to say that that exchange in the middle lane wasn't as worth it, but it suddenly became worth it when Hag picked up the kill onto Illuna, because they were giving so much space on Moon Queen. They actually committed 4 heroes to the middle lane, so and the thing is, it's just a Pestilence during the early stages of the game. He had his I don't know, did he have his bottle before he died, or?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, so maybe that's like one of the bad things that happened right there. Like, if he had it before, it wouldn't have been like the biggest of issues. I think he probably bought it before he died, because
well, yeah, I think so. But well, the thing I really want to emphasize right now is that there is no vision for Imperial for the upper half of this river as well as map here. So that being said, they could have possibly known that Bomb Rusher Paul is actually going to try and rotate down here. That was a little questionable in that part. But also do note that while the same thing is happening for Moon Queen having completely undisputed farm, you have also Predator that's doing his part of the farming, and if you look at them, just gonna compare the CS, it seems like Pred's standing about 22-2 and Moon Queen about 30-17, so pretty fair. I mean, it's not too far apart, and if they leave Pred to just continue this farm, it could be pretty ridiculous, because that would mean that Pred's gonna snowball well into this mid game.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, usually when it comes to like the battle of the hard carries and with the team that is surrounding these hard carries, I definitely give the favor to the Legion team as compared to the Hellborn, because like Moon Queen can just easily clear off the rest of his teammates while he's attacking Predator. And he has that very inherently super strong ultimate with the Moon Finale, so which does a lot of damage, by the way. So, like, giving much more free farm towards the Moon Queen as compared to the Predator is a little bit more scary, because Moon Queen can also transition a little bit faster as compared to Predator. Like Predator, he just farms up, once he gets like some attack items and enough HP, then he only goes ahead and tries to, find ganks, other lanes, or like help out the rest of his teammate when they are going and having an engagement or skirmish around the map. But like Moon Queen, he can just rotate into the jungle if he wants to. He can go ahead and fight if he needs to. Like if he picks up like the early steamboats into like something like a Geometer's Bane or early Shrunken Head straight away, then he could just go anywhere he wants to. Like he can take team fights straight away just because of that ultimate and the first spell, the first skill right there. Sorry, the Moonbeam. Yeah.
Yep, so that's it. We're just standing about 4 minutes 30 plus seconds still. And yes, there are. Sorry, I think Legion called for this pause, but they are. Yep, as I mentioned, gonna be ready right now. And yeah, well on the way again. This game is gonna resume quickly, and I'm just psyched up because I don't really know what's gonna happen with this middle lane tension that's been building up between the Pestilence as well as the Nightfall 5. And on the flip side, I mean, Moon Queen Lucky is having a really good farm this game, and I hope that that's going to carry on. But still, Impunity Earth is standing a little bit fragmented, if you ask me, because they just look to be a little bit too squishy right now. And Ophelia, I mean, Ophelia needs more creeps before she can be of a sizable threat.
Oh
to
no.
But a haste up prisoner comes in, pops the ulti quickly, and Wildsole is going to be screaming for bamboos really quickly, and it's going to be a nice kill there. There is no one in sight to save the poor panda girl, so she is going to have to take the fall.
Yeah, that was really hard for them because they had the worst side. Like Bomb Rush Paul, I've said this time and time again, he's really doing a good job ever since he's rotated towards more of like the support role. Like he really knows where to set up the wards, and he's done a perfect job right here. He wards off straight away the ancient camps because he knows that who is this not War Beast, Wild Soul like rotated out of the lane of bottom lane.
Heck. Actually gonna be stunned there, and yes, it is gonna be a sad news. Wow, neutral creeps that are gonna be able to snatch the kill away from Impurity Earth. That was the first kill that was supposed to go in favor, or rather was supposed to go in towards them, but it seems like that really nasty looking Skeleton King off the background was more than enough to pick up the hack.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but still it works in the team's favor because that just means even more that Hag is not able to pick up on farm and levels, and Hag, yes, he can come back fairly well top lane Pestilence versus
Yep, again, Pestilence now, a lot of trouble. Here comes the Silence Round, the Parasite, nice stun, and Prisoner finishes off with a nice hook, and Enduin's gonna take the fall again. That's 0-4, already 6 minutes in, and Walso still cannot farm this Ancient. Because after this draft coming from Beauty Earth, it seems like the team is split into two main parts here. It's Walso and Pestilence with the rest of this team. So these two main components are not able to just sync it as well as MRR because you just see a lot of rotation coming from Bomb Rush Paul as well as the middle lane Prisoner Nightfall 5. That being said, they're just completely abandoning Wretched Hack for MRR's part, and using 3 heroes to just lock down this hack, I do believe it's a little too much on the overinvestment part. Oh, and right now Luna, not full health, would possibly be going down, and Fur is gonna land a stun quickly, but will not get anything done in time again.
If I were the Luna, I would have like ran towards the top creeps there, the stack camp, and hopefully that they would kill me instead. Wildsoul's gonna spot out Torture. I think he can kill Torture if he wants to, but Predator's nearby.
Yeah, Pret's nearby. Nice body blocking skills coming from Bomb Rusher Paul. Looking for a second episode of the body block, but will not get it done. Here comes the Parasite also. And again, unguarded top rune. Oh, wait a second, Walso, what is he doing there?
Oh my god! You see, Parasite stole the health potion.
Yeah, he did.
GG team, GG. That's pretty funny. Middle lane though.
Yeah, now Prisoner 945 Shidowanics looking to run away quickly, and his Inside's gonna pop the ulti to just deter Pestilence, but Pestilence didn't have enough. I mean, his stun was off cooldown, but he just didn't pursue matters because there was no flight on this bug here. So couldn't take flight, couldn't catch up, and will not pursue for the kill. That being said, here's still 7 minutes plus in this game, and 0-5. Astonishingly, it seems like MRR has got pretty much the early game covered here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually kind of questioning why Pestilence went for 2 levels into the gore. Like you only really need 1 level during the early game. Like you really need flight. Flight is such an important skill for Pestilence, just to have that roaming potential. And I wanted to take the point about what I mentioned earlier. It's like how like this lineup is just really risky for Impunity Earth, and you can see right here that it's not paying off. Oh yeah.
You gonna say hi to the pig-looking Prisoner?
He has Energizer, so he should be fairly alright against that Prisoner, and there's no real follow-up behind. Hag is only level 5, doesn't have the bad blasters yet. But yeah, just coming back to my point, it's showing right now that the risk is not really paying in the favor because they're just getting shut down in so many lanes that they can't find the space to really do anything right now.
Yep, and Parasite, actually the fake one's gonna be here. The real deal is nowhere to be found. I do believe that he is again in another creep that we will need to take time to find. Because, yeah, oh well, yeah, there he is. Yep, the real deal. So, yep, it's a fake Parasite in a Legion jungle, that's pretty fair. We still have got Team Legion so far in about 9 minutes into this game, already 4,000 gold behind. And MRR gonna try and pull for a little bit more early game pressure here. They will spot out this Parasite, will in fact waste the stuns on both the Catman as well as the Pestilence, but that will get nothing done because it's a fake version. Middle lane still gonna be pressured by MR, and I just like how Bomb Rush Ball is just rotating all over this map here with Parasite. We've seen a lot of Parasite fail, but this Parasite, my god, he has been ganking since the start of this game.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot for his team. He's sitting at 820 gold. I don't know if he purchased. Did you see if he purchased anything? In the career?
No,
Nope.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
he does. He does have a Necrophytes book, so I think he's still gonna go for that
Neophytes book,
Codex
yeah.
build. Sorry, yeah, Neophytes book, my bad. Yeah, I think he's still gonna go for Codex unless he suddenly
Bottom
changes
lane,
up.
pot's
No.
coming in. Fort's gonna be used here. Tier 1 will not be left uncontested. Here comes the Moon Queen, gonna pop the ulti quickly. And yes, the pick takes everything from the Queen there. And it seems like Richard gonna be in a lot of trouble. He's gonna flash very quickly. The tower is gonna get destroyed. And this pot will be cancelled quickly also. Now, Hack in a lot of trouble, but will stay safe though. And that being said, Parasite now gonna do his own version of a gank here. Looking out for a really poor looking little girl, level 4. It's gonna be the Luna as well as level 6 Walter. And it just dawned on me, how many chicks do they have on Impurity Earth right now?
They have 3.
4?
No, they have-
3?
they have-
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Also has
So-
gender bender problems. Like, no clue. Doesn't.
Wow,
Not sure what
so-
he wants to be.
I thought Moon Queen's the one that looks like a prince, but it's called a queen. Never mind.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, right.
10 minutes plus into this game, 1:5 here. Pardon our digress from this entire game. So, we are looking at MRR knocking off both tier 1s at the top as well as the middle lane. Bottom lane still pretty much uncontested. Whereas for Impurity Earth, knocking off both, only the bottom lane tier 1. So, they need to just deal with this increased aggression, from MRR. And that is going to be pretty hard to deal with, standing up a 4k gold behind.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only thing that they have, like, Legion team has working for them is the fact that Moon Queen is picking up on some really early game quick farm. He's sitting at 400 gold per minute. It's slightly under Predator's gold per minute, but usually the Moon Queen is much more favored because of that Moon Finale, like you saw right there at the bottom lane with that ports. He made use of it, so he's putting aggression at least kind of slightly against the Hellborn team, and he's taking up the triple stacks which the rest of his team has been doing. Like, this is really all in kind of like onto this
Oh, Brad's gonna leap on Wild, so is he gonna be just follow this up for a kill? I don't think so, but that being said there, yep, and well, sorry to knock off your point there, Lark, but I would like to add that now that with the top lane tier 1 cancel out, I thought that maybe Wildso can finally get some good fun, but look at what Brad is doing here. Just not gonna give him any space at all. He's just gonna say, I maintain my lane presence and I will not give it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do. Like, that's just perfect coming out. He knows that he has the... Like, that's his task that he needs to do right now. He's pushed up the lane so far. He can farm, yes. He shouldn't be that afraid of, like, dying. I'd like to see him carry a Homecoming Stone at least in case of ganks. He can always use the Iron Hide and just, like, port away. Of course, Boo Boo can kind of, like, just fuck up his day if he gets a beautiful, root off. But yeah, I mean... he's at least constantly applying pressure onto his Wild Soul so that he doesn't pick up on farm. But yeah, coming back to my point, if Moon Queen is able to sustain this team and carry them towards this middle stage of this game, Wild Soul is going to have that space to farm. He's going to be really farmed up later on. And once Wild Soul, like these two core heroes, Wild Soul and Moon Queen... Oh.
Sorry, double stun there on the Pestilence. Thought he was going to be a lot of trouble because the Ophelia was just closing in behind, but no, it seems to be just fine. And that being said here, just 12 minutes in, and Lark, so far, and you think the Impurity Earth is going to be able to hold off the next push from MRR?
I think they can. They at least have the Astral Layup up on Ophelia, so that's one of the biggest things right there. Moon Queen, once he reaches that level 11, he should be able to output a lot of damage against the Hellborn team. Codex is not up on Parasite just yet, so he can't really burst down someone as quickly, although he can probably burst down Luna. I mean, like, Luna is just sitting on boots, he's not even level 6 yet. Luna really needs that level 6 so that he can set something up. But yeah, I don't think Hellborn is really going to take a team fight yet. They're just kind of contented with Predator just farming. Usually with a Predator, they want him to farm up some items before actually trying to join a team fight and setting up a team fight, because against the Moon Queen, if you try to push in, you don't get the best positioning. He gets a huge ultimate off, you're just practically screwed because Moon Finale just does a freaking ton of damage. So Yeah, I mean, like, they can be contented with pushing down towers at least. Because they've already pushed down the middle tower, so that's a
Here
huge
comes
advantage.
a little bit of nice engagement from the Pred onto the walls, but also will pot away quickly though, and that's gonna mean that the rest of Team Impurity are gonna try and uplift the pressure here on the middle lane. Tier 1, MRR still not gonna pot in yet. We do have Energizer being used, and they are in full retreat all of a sudden there because of the water sight all the way here in the Legion jungle. But that being said, it is pretty questionable so far, and simply because we've got Pred already completing Elder Parasite.
Yep, he's had that for a while, and I think he's working towards a Brutalizer. I don't think he should... I mean, it's kind of redundant if he picks up the Shrunken Head since it doesn't move all the Parasite anymore, so... Yeah. I want to say that the warding coming out from the Hellburn team hasn't been the greatest just yet. Okay, we just see a couple of wards just being set up just recently by Brown Marshall Paul. So finally, some wards are up because it was coming to a point where the Hellburn team didn't have enough wards up. I'd like to see a little bit more not defensive, offensive wards right there, so that they can kind of set up ganks if they want to. Like Prisoner 945, he should definitely pick up a portal key. Like that will be a huge item for him, and that should definitely help out a lot. He's gone for more of the inherently tanky build with the Helm of the Black Legion, and that's alright in my opinion. I like it when like Prisoner 945 like just goes for a straight Steam Boots into Portal Key and then like the Soul's Bulwark, because it just offers like it's just that much more scarier as compared to just seeing a Helm of the Black Legion. Because if the rest of his teammates die, he's just gonna perish, and Soul's Bulwark is just a perfect team fight item right there. But yeah, I mean, it's like Parasite has kind of dwindled down a bit. He's not done anything just yet. Predator went for the Ice Brand, so I don't know. I don't really agree with that pickup. But like I usually prefer just getting that what do you call this? Oh, middle lane.
Okay, middle lane again pressured by Impunity, and first spot's gonna come in quickly. Walso still not gonna pot away, but it's gonna be a successful destruction of the tower there, and the stun is not gonna be in time, so Walso will be safe. And Boo Boo will also go all the way home, and all goes the Skeleton King Lyric with one small little Minotaur there, but we'll feel a lot of trouble there. Here comes the hack, but it's gonna be triple NC heroes here, and maybe it's gonna be able to do a little bit of a different story here, but where are the heroes? They are all already gone, and yes, it seems like Parasite's gonna be able to infest nicely into this Skeleton King and will punish the Minotaur and the other Skeleton King. How mind-boggling is this scene here, but that should be fine. Yep, Ophelia will keep it safe.
That was, I have to say, that was really bad micromanagement coming out from who's that? Is it Air, right?
Yeah, that's Air.
Yeah. Like he had the creep's abilities on off cooldown. Could have easily used that in there. Gave up a creep to Parasite, so that's just really unfortunate. But I mean, it's nothing to take away from him. I think he's just kind of like settling into the jungle role. I don't know. I haven't seen much of Impunity Earth recently, so I don't know what their current lineup is. But as you can see right here, it seems like he just needs to kind of like get a little bit more practice with the hero, and then he should be a little bit more fine off.
Well, I thought that he would have been able to just at least deal a little bit more extra damage on the hack there, but hack was just a little bit. I mean, he blinked into 3 NCs, man, and that would be a lot of trouble for anyone who would know how to micro them nicely. But I do believe that well, Ophelia wanted to just make sure that the creeps will survive nicely, and that was the main reason that he didn't use much and just basically ran. That being said, Tier 1 down south nicely destroyed by Hellborn, and that's gonna mean that all Tier 1s are already officially off the map here by Team MRR. And
top lane.
Yep, top lane, a little bit of contest coming here. It's gonna be Parasite, but nope, the tower is still gonna be destroyed. Boo Boo the bear actually going down to the Parasite, so that's gonna be 100 gold, but that is again nothing too much to worry about because we also already have about 3.4k save up in the bank.
That's
that
huge.
Yeah, that should be. I mean, considering how he fared in this entire game, I believe that no one has got complaints about that. And I do believe that he's gonna go for a quick Mark of Brilliance. I do believe that that's gonna be the first item pickup.
And that's gonna be a huge one because that's just gonna even offer that much more space for Moon Queen, who has been providing support for him, and the rest of his teammates. So that means like Ophelia can pick up items, Pestilence can pick up that Shrunken Head, Walso just needs to be just so damn pesky and constantly go all across the map and split push whenever there's engagement and then just quickly port back. Like that's the power of Walso. Like it's just so annoying to deal with. It's one of the cheesiest heroes in the sense that you can just take down towers so damn fast, as you can see right here, and that's without items, by the way. Like
yeah,
Hatchet does not work on towers, by the way. So
but the bear is again gonna go down, so that is Could be it, but meanwhile, down south, Impromptu actually taking the fall first, and it seems like Predator in a lot of trouble here because of the creep there by Ophelia, but no, it seems like Luna's gonna take the fall before anyone else, and here comes the pot in from Pestilence, but not enough mana for a stun there, so will not get anything accomplished at the very end. But that's gonna escalate MR's position to about 7 kills against Impurity Earth's only 1. But do know, in the previous engagement, I do believe that Lucky wasn't there, so they aren't just lucky enough.
Yeah, he's gonna get his Geometer's Bane soon, so that's a good item pickup for him. He definitely needs a Shrunken Head still, because there's still a lot of lockdown coming up from the rest of the Hellborn team, and he definitely doesn't want to take like a Bat Blast to the face on top of like a nuke, the silence, as well as the leech coming up from, and the Codex, which is now I think level 2. I think it's level 2, I don't know, I can't really click on him too right now. And Torture as well with the rest of the lockdown from the spell, so he needs that Shrunken Head, then he can start building into like he also needs lifesteal against Predators. Sometimes it can be kind of like a hit and miss. It's like a double-edged sword because Predator really relies.
Nearly there.
Yeah, that hook. Predator really relies on that like the higher HP you have, the more he's just gonna reach back and do more damage to you. So it's kind of a hit and miss sometimes, but I think it's pretty okay in this kind of situation, especially if he decides to pick up on the early what is a Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, one thing to know right now is that MRR is actually gonna nicely invade into this Legion jungle, and that means that there's a lot less farm space for Team Impurity Earth, and they are a little bit boxed out right now. It seems like they will have Wall so nicely rotating all the way to the Hellborn jungle. It seems like if you want to play in my jungle or play in yours, that's just fine. But the problem is that Moon Queen still needs farm, and Moon Queen already completing the Geometer's Bane with the Energizer. That's a lot of items for just 20 minutes up, and it seems like Lucky here definitely showing us that with 400 plus GPM, it's gonna be pretty easy for him to just go forth a little bit more in terms of completing the Whispering Helm next.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Pestilence did not spot that hag out. He should have like kind of ran towards there, but of course
but he will now.
Okay, but there's a parasite in the vicinity.
Yep,
I think,
and
I don't
also
know,
a
man.
Bomb Rusher Paul.
Yeah,
This
I don't know. I
doesn't
feel
used
like
to mean a
Legion
lot,
team can definitely take that team fight in my opinion.
Yeah,
like
they
hag
should,
isn't that farmed up. I don't know.
Yeah, but he does have a light brand, and that's gonna hurt a little bit. If there is a parasite also, things might be a little bit different there, but it seems like Pratt's gonna be able to just nicely pick off the kill there on the Luna again. And the Luna in this game so far has just been stacking jungles and really doesn't have much of a big play. But there we go, middle lane Prisoner. Here comes the Pestilence stun, and there we go. Lucky there. Oh, actually not gonna use the ulti. There was a little bit of a taunt, but will not use it. Wow, so he does still have the Moon Finale still up and running there, and in fact is gonna land a Moonbeam on the Parasite.
Yeah, that bear root was huge. Look at how much damage Parasite took from that.
Yeah,
it's like really a lot, and like they just traded the Aluna for the Prisoner 9 for 5, so that's good for them. They actually went Prisoner went for the early barbed armor. I think that's pretty fine, especially against the Moon Queen who doesn't have the Shrunken Head just yet. He went for Ghost Marches though. I kind of disagree with that item. I really feel like Prisoner 9 for 5 is like just one of the heroes that really needs that Steam Boots to be that much more effective. Also, is gonna have his what do you call this? Mock of Brilliance soon. Yeah, that's like he just needs like 10 more gold and he's gonna have it. So that's gonna be super huge for him. And does this bear have boots yet? Nope, it doesn't have.
Nope, it doesn't. He's on a tight budget right now.
Yeah, he is. But he should definitely pick up that.
It's a bad financial year for the world. So, but Zarina Tara in this game, man, he is still gonna be able to complete the Mock of Brilliance very quickly, and that's about 23 minutes into this game, give and take. So that's pretty fine and really respectable, considering the fact that he's only standing about 270 plus GPM, and also the fact that early game, we all saw how bad an early game he had to deal with against Team MR, which was constantly boxing him out. He went to the Ancients was denied by Bomb Rusher Paul. Boy, it was just a little bit bad for him. But that being said, he still managed to complete that, Mock of Brilliance right now. Actually, that's only a recipe, and it's a little bit broken, but the bear still shines.
Why is he not putting the Sword of the High and...
I got no idea there, but the Sword of the High has not met with its counterpart, and yep, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
And maybe showing us that it's really broken, because the recipe makes the bear shine, so now we know that.
Yeah, that's kind of OP in my opinion, just for the effects. But yeah, I mean, Pestilence...
Mock of Brilliance.
Yeah, Pestilence hasn't done much just yet. He hasn't been able to find right angle to really pick off ganks, and there's not. He doesn't have best burst damage with the Aluna Red Power Show, nor does he have like the support to really kill off people. And that's why I said this is kind of like a greedy lineup, but he should definitely work towards getting that Shrunken Head so that he can have the ability to just roam around. They're easily gonna take Kong and
Yeah, and that again brings me to another point here, because MRR being MRR, they just love Kongo so much.
yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
Every game that we've casted, they always like to take it.
Yeah,
But
it's like they took 4 against Thunder Masters each match.
yeah, and they take it at the right timings when they know that they can, and there's like no contest. Usually, if you've noticed, there's usually no contest when they go for Kong. The other just like sits back, farms, and does whatever the hell they want to do. Predator has another Mighty Blade, so that's finally gonna be the Brutalizer, I do believe.
Maybe a Shrunken Head, we don't know just yet, but
I think that's a really bad item, especially with the Elder Parasite.
yeah, I mean, there's not enough magical damage, coming up from Team Legion anyway, so that would be really bad, but again, with Thai teams, you don't know what they're buying most of this time.
Yeah, and it's really gonna come to a point where the Legion team, the Wild Soul and the Moon Queen are just gonna be so damn far. We look at Moon Queen, man. We haven't talked much about him. Like he just busy doing his own thing. He has 3k gold saved up right now,
Again,
so
yeah.
hopefully he's gonna buy a Shrunken Head next. Like this is the thing that is so damn scary about the Legion's lineup. Like if Moon Queen and Morbius get enough farm, as well as the Pestilence, it's really scary to deal with, especially seeing as what the Hellborn team is. So I gotta say, like they're working against the clock in my opinion. Like late game, Predator can't do much against Wild Soul and Moon Queen by himself. Like yes, there's a Hag, but Hag also can get locked down pretty hard. The one thing that they do have is the fact that Parasite, I feel, does kind of a better job as compared to Ophelia in the later stages of the game. So yeah.
Yep, that's for sure. Yes, you're completely right. A Parasite is gonna be a lot more effective in the late game, but the problem is, has it been really working? And I do believe that their answer to the question is yes for the first 10 minutes of this game, but thereafter it seems like he's just very much obsessed with that Codex pickup. Now already level 3 by the way, so that's going to be really a pain in the butt if it's actually going to be executed on anyone there. Especially on Luna, it's going to be really an easy kill. Luna only has 600 health points. That being said, pot's going to happen all the way down south here, and Tier 3 going to be challenged quickly. Triple Skeleton and King a lot of trouble, but the Leoric triplets are going to be a lot of trouble. They are just going to nicely run away. Meanwhile, Wild Soul actually going to be a lot of trouble. Here comes the Pred. He does not have the Brutalizer just yet, and the pot will not work this time round. So Zarina Tara is going to go down, and that's going to mean 2:9, 26 minutes in. And MRR, they did manage to take down this tier 2 down at the middle lane, but will lose the one down south. So that is pretty questionable right now.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a fair trade, but they did kill the Wild Soul, so that means that they will win the entirety of that engagement.
Hellboy got the better of that exchange, and I don't know, like Impunity to Earth, like Wild Soul could have actually played that better. He should have known that the ports were coming in. He only saw like what I think there was only like 3 ports at the bottom lane, so he should have known that they could have supported top if they wanted to. They know that the power of Wild Soul, and they saw him like farming the creeps. They're gonna push in right now.
This is really bad because Moon Queen having a Shrunken Head is a little questionable against a Predator that already has got a Brutalizer by the way. So that's gonna mean complete free bashing onto the Moon Queen there, but again, it's gonna depend on execution, and it seems like Pred's gonna get nicely kited by Illusion of the Moon Queen, and that's gonna be able to just make sure that things are pretty safe. Are we gonna see the Ophelia broken combo with the Pestilence again? I pot and stun and send back home.
Yeah, I think that could be useful, but it's also very risky as well. I always say that because if Pestilence goes in, doesn't get a stun off, or he does get a stun, let's just say he gets a stun off, maybe it's just 1 or 2 heroes, he goes back, that just means that gives them a time frame, a small window to actually kill off the rest of
maybe,
yeah, to like kill off the rest of the teammates before Pestilence runs back into the lane. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only problem there with the broken Ophelia combo. The broken sandbag. I'm just gonna call it a broken sandbag, but anyway. Team Legion right now in a defensive position against Team MRR, and MRR having both lanes pushed against them. It seems like they have only the mid lane to work with. Here comes the level 16 Predator, and he is going to be lurking behind, dancing about and waiting for something to munch on. But meanwhile, it seems like 28 minutes is up, and ImpE are finding themselves about 7,000 goal deficit against MRR. It's
Yep.
really questionable. And there we have, it's the real Moon Queen, by the way, and yes, it's gonna be pushing the bottom lane now with both illusion. It seems like the tier 3 is gonna be severely challenged here. Are we gonna see a tower trade? We actually will not be able to see that because the pot's gonna come in quickly, and Moon Queen now gonna try run away as much as possible. It's gonna get denied, so yes, it's still gonna go down. Meanwhile, middle lane, some work's being done. Bomb Rusher Ball takes the fall. How in the world did that happen? Lyric actually gonna cancel the pot out by the Pred, and Pred is now gonna be hunted. He is gonna be the prey in this game here, and MRR, DQ actually losing the token, and there we go. Lucky gonna say, hi, Pred, you're my food today. And he's gonna be able to just march over quickly, and that's gonna be a kill there. Seal kill streak gonna end quickly, and yes, things suddenly change in favor of ImpE of. They have got only 4k deficit against the 9k that they had about just a minute back there.
Huge. That just goes back again to my point. Moon Queen and Warbeast in the same team. It's risky, but when you get the items, it pays off. Sorry, Wild Soul. What the hell am I talking about? Yeah, Wild Soul was there protecting. You saw the Geometer's Bane Moon Queen do so much work against the tower. Of course, that's like the biggest thing teams always forget. Like when that happens, report back. The rest of your teammates, they can always get collapsed upon by the enemy team, and that's just what happened right there. And Pred lost token.
And it's the second tier 3 there will go down quickly also. Now Milliberg's gonna be challenging. It seems like Team MRR still gonna be waiting for the Pred. Pred actually still not coming out. The Codex forced to be used on Boo because he just deals a ton of damage on the range barracks there, and the melee also. So that means that ImpE a big win there. They actually got one lane rexed out, maybe not completely, but only the melee barracks, and that's enough pressure on one lane.
Yeah, definitely. Portal Key is just finally picked up on Prisoner 945. I felt like there's really huge lack of initiation coming from a Hellborn team, and also that's because Hag doesn't have the Shrunken Head just yet. So it's just really hard for Hellborn right now. That was something that they didn't want to happen right there. They lost so much. They lost the token. They were forced to deny their own tower. They lost tower mid as well as Rax, and they got the Pred killed off. So like everything is really falling into the hands of Impunity Earth right now. It's falling into their favor. You see the Soul Spore finally finished up onto Wild Soul. Wild Soul himself, he picked up a Plated Greaves on himself just to avoid more damage from the Predator. So he's gonna be like, he's fairly tanky himself, especially once he goes into the what do you call this, the bear form. Although usually Predator just cuts through it, but there's a team fight gonna happen right now.
Yep, it is, and it seems like MRR is gonna nicely try and stock on the middle lane now in an attempt to salvage everything that went wrong for them in the previous engagement. It seems like Bear is gonna quickly root this. Bear is really big, and Pred finding himself 50% health points down. Here comes the Shrunken Moon Queen. Moon Queen gonna kill a Pred for a second time, and down goes the pig also. Wow. And Kadoshila gonna further deal a lot more punishment there. It seems like Bomb Rush gonna try pot it, but he will not pot away. He will go down. And that being said, 31 minutes in, 7-9. ImpE of now gonna steamroll the middle lane as quickly as possible. Energizer gonna be popping all sorts, and yes, they are not gonna relent here. And MRR finding themselves, it's like, what happened there, team? Pred just got bashed in by the Boo Boo Bear, and after that, everything just fell apart for them. There is just not enough defense on that team to specifically defend against this team, and look at that, Lucky there, Shrunken Header, that's just all you need on this Moon Queen. Quick Rex gonna happen here also. Jomida's Bane gonna do his work against the Millibarracks, and yes, it seems like Zarina Tara gonna do a little bit of split push, and this is just what I like about ImpE right now. They're just working this team all across the map. They are so focused individually that they are not gonna be stopping themselves here. And yeah, there we go, range back quickly, and middle lane, it seems like that is gonna be a parasite that is completely worthless right now in this game, because the Codex tree, that's all he has. But both the mid and bottom rexed out 32 minutes in. What a quick change of event. Just 4 minutes ago, we saw MRR nicely pushing down the middle lane, thinking they could win this game, and the taunt there again by Moon Queen. Moon Finale not gonna be the real thing, now gonna pop quickly, and Chidawan X gonna, in fact, gonna be nicely stunning and taking that mostly, but Lucky is still standing. Bad Blast can be used, but it doesn't seem to bother ImpE at all, and a quick sidestep by the Moon Queen will miss that hook, in fact. And yes, it seems like Team ImpE now gonna push the Millibarracks, and MRR calling it quits here, and game 1 will go to ImpE, ladies and gentlemen. That is the first game that ImpE will pick up against MRR, previously a first runner-up team, and that's just really big right now.
I called it, man. I told that's a risky lamp, but in the end it paid off for them because MRR didn't put enough pressure. They didn't utilize. They didn't utilize the the parasite as much as they really wanted to. They didn't get the early initiation on the the Prisoner 945. Pred. I really disagree with the Frostburn, man. It slowed down the ability for him to like just take team fights a little bit earlier. If he was in teamfights a bit early, it would have made a difference. Hag just couldn't get anything done because it was just boxed out so hard at the bottom lane with the help of what was it, the Luna and I want to say Ophelia right there, and like you saw right there that they could split push everywhere, and that's the power of like this is you. Walso is just one of the heroes you just don't you don't take lightly. Like he is gonna cut through your towers like it's nothing, especially once he has that Mock of Brilliance and I don't know what the skill is called, the one where he uses it in his bear form for the added extra damage and armor and shit. But yeah, I mean, Impunity Earth, man, they made the lineup work, and that's really huge against MR right
You
there.
mean wall?
Sorry.
Wall, the skill name is called Wall, where you just
Okay,
increase the
yeah, the
XP
wall.
and style. Yeah, going wall, going mad, going insane. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was what
exact.
Imperial was all about in the previous game, really. And MR, they've got so much mistakes in the game that really is a little bit questionable. Definitely, you saw the early game pressure. That is the main bulk of MR's game. But the moment the Moon Queen went wild or insane, he was like, lucky, tonight's my night. And he's got farm, man. That's what the guy's got. He's got Shrunken Head, he's got Jomidas Bane, he's got every single thing he needs. In fact, even level 16 ulti. So that's a lot. I mean level 3 ulti, by the way. Level 16, level 3 ulti, so I think people do get that. So that being said, the the moment the bottom was being pressured, they know the MRR was in a lot of trouble there. They tried to pot back, the team got split back into half there, and it was a little bit half-assed, but it seems like MRR just fell apart in the middle lane. Pret died the first time, they tried to make something happen the second time, but that didn't really translate to anything good after all. And did you just see the speed that Imperial took to go from their base to the Hellborn base? It was like
Yeah.
really just a bullet train there.
That Energizer, man, too strong. Oh, and I have to give huge props to Air because he finally microed it really well. He cancelled out
Yeah, he did.
the Pred so many times when he had the Iron Hide up. He just got stunned to death. That's the power of Ophelia with like I think he had 2 Skeleton Kings. Was it?
Yeah, he had
yeah,
2 to 3. Every
Yeah.
single time it's only the Skeleton King or maybe 1 Minotaur, that's about it. He doesn't have anything else to deal with. And the Lyric triplets are just so strong on Air in terms of starting and locking out Pred. It seems like he was just focused on Pred and no one else. And that was more than enough to win that game there. It seems like Pred, the problem with Pred against any range hero, we all know, is that the moment you give him some distance, he goes down. Even with a Brutalizer. The only thing that's really good about Predator is the fact that he can just leap on you and just go really focused on one hero and bring it down quickly. That's the merits of the hero. But the moment you put some distance between them, he's basically done. So that's what happened there in Impunity. I'm just really excited because this means the MRR cannot advance their position today and they are looking to either drop a little bit further or maybe just make it into a tie game.
Yeah, I mean, seems like Impunity Earth really means business. They are doing really well as compared to their counterparts in Impunity Storm, I do believe. So I mean, like, hope in Impunity restored, I guess.
Yeah, oh
Well, not
well,
really.
just one game and you say stuff like that. That's really interesting to see. Meanwhile, I'm just waiting for the game to join here. But yeah, like you nicely mentioned though, I do believe that Impunity Earth they are now in a much better shape, and I'm waiting for the invite. But that being said, it is really interesting to see that. So, well, I am happy so far with what I'm witnessing, and I'm just glad to say that Impunity Earth will be a force to be reckoned with in this entire cycle. And I hope that they maintain the same standard. Now they have called it Caster's Curse, I hope it doesn't happen this time. Because the previous time when I said something about Storm, they just fell apart. And that
Yeah.
was a little regrettable. But that was back in Cycle 1. Now it's Cycle 3, and I hope the Impunity Earth is going to maintain this momentum that they have. We'll be back with more game real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, you just watched Game 1. Game 2 is going to be up really quickly. This is Babael, and with me is Lark.